Podcast is back, and now in video form. As we've done the States Up podcast over the past couple of years, it's been kind of audio only. Now we're integrating video into the podcast, and our very first guest on the States Up podcast video form is one of the newest Bobcats to the Texas State football family, offensive lineman Nash Jones. He's a big one. You can't miss him. 6'5", 320 pounds. And he is one of those players from East Texas, from Nacogdoches, a transfer from Incarnate Word. As you look back at his Cardinal career, 3-time All-Southland Conference, started all 33 games in his 3 seasons with the Cardinals, the last 2 at left tackle. So, Nash, how you doing, my man?
Doing good, sir. Doing well.
Well, welcome to Texas State, by the way. We're going to talk about your journey, from Nacogdoches to San Antonio to San Marcos. But, first, as we talk here, you're a couple of days removed from getting back from Sunbelt Media Days. How was New Orleans?
New Orleans was great. My first time getting to walk around and really see the city, so it was a great experience.
So you've never been to New Orleans before?
We've been there a couple of times because we played a couple of teams in Louisiana, so we stayed there. But it was a business trip. Didn't get to really explore anything, just stayed in the hotel.
So in terms of exploration for you, with the Bobcats and Media Day, I know it was a business trip, in a sense, because you had obligations, for Media Day itself. But did you get a chance to enjoy yourself, like, walk Bourbon Street, eat some of the local food there?
Yeah, we did. We got to go out and eat some of the local food, and that was my time to really explore and see how things went. We got there kind of a little bit late at night, and so as we were finding dinner, we saw a little pop-up band, and everything was light and bright, and so it was really cool to see everything.
How was the food?
Oh, it was amazing. It was really amazing. It was good.
What'd you have?
So we went to this one spot called Denise's. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. It was my first time trying this. It was blackened redfish, smothered in crawfish etouffee.
Man, all right. That is some perfect Cajun cuisine right there. I have to imagine as an old lineman, you like your food as well. So I'm guessing pretty good, there in New Orleans. Good eats. So I thought you and Coach Kinne and Tori Spears did a great job over there in New Orleans. Had a chance to watch from afar the coverage on ESPN Plus. There was also a lot of social media stuff going on from the official Texas State football account, and I noticed there was a picture of you and GJ playing Madden. Did y'all actually play each other?
No, sadly we didn't get to actually play each other. I sat down there playing the little sticks, and we thought it would be a great picture.
Oh, I got you. So GJ wasn't willing to take you on then?
He might have won that one. I'm not the best Madden player. I just know my little simple stuff, try to get my reads in and out,
So I know Madden's really big, with some of your teammates. So how would you rate your Madden skills?
My Madden skills are very average player. When I'm playing Madden, I'm just trying to see if I can look at the box, try to use my real-world skills, hone my skills a little bit. Okay. But they definitely got some Madden heads on the team.
Every year a new Madden game comes out, there's always that debate about, who deserves a 99 rating. Like I know Pat Mahomes got it for the newest edition of Madden coming out. If you could rate any of your teammates with a 99 right now, who would it be?
Any teammate with a 99 right now. Got to give it to Tori Spears, brother. Went on the trip with me. Brian Holloway, a beast of a linebacker. Who else? Because the team's loaded. The team's absolutely loaded.
Well, good to know there's several 99s on the team.
Cole Wilson.
You mentioned Tori Spears. Of course, he had that great pick six against Appalachia State last year. Have you had a chance to see the highlight of that play?
I have not.
When you get the chance, Nash, check it out. Tori had a great read on that. outran the defenders trying to tackle him, and it was a really, really great play. What was a great win a year ago. I mentioned, you're an East Texas guy. Let's talk about your upbringing now a little bit. Nacogdoches, again, where you're from. You have 2 brothers and a sister. Your dad is Rod, your mom Veronica. So tell me a little bit more about your family.
Yeah, we're a really tight-knit group. We're originally from Dallas, but my dad's a pastor.
Okay.
And so he felt the call to go preach down in Nacogdoches. So around 8th grade year, that's when we got up and we moved down to Nacogdoches, and we've been there ever since. Mom and dad live at the church, of course. They're running everything, doing what they got to do, but they're also, my dad's a PE teacher, and my mom's a regular school teacher, elementary teacher. And so they stay out in the community and do a lot of things there as well. I have my older brother, who is now a graphic designer at the firm Preacher, which is kind of cool because my dad's a preacher. Now he's at the firm Preacher.
That's awesome.
Graduated from Texas State, so I'm not alone. My brother Joel is just now getting into his 10th grade year. One heck of a football player. Can't wait to see where he's going to go. They joke that he's the best athlete in the family. I think I like to hold that title for now.
You got a good case for it now, for sure.
Oh yeah, and then I got my younger sister, and she's starting to blaze her trail. She's an amazing singer, and she's really starting to get in the choir and all that good stuff.
That's great, man. So you talked about your dad a little bit, and I understand he too was a college athlete, played basketball, Division I to San Diego State. Very good program out in the Mountain West, at least for now in the Mountain West. But tell me a little bit about the impact, the influence your dad has had on you as you made your own journey as a Division I athlete.
So it was cool. My dad is an athlete through and through. I started out with soccer. I tried to play basketball a little bit. Because he's a basketball player, when he saw my skills, he immediately took the basketball away from me. Can't play basketball at all whatsoever. I was born to play football. And so it's funny enough, he's also a football coach. So he's a basketball player, but he's a football coach. And so as I started to grow up in high school, I really got locked in with him, and he's such a great and amazing person and a great father that he actually helped me build an in-home gym.
Really?
And so we got 2x4s and all that good stuff, and made it out of wood, drilled it into the side of the garage, and me and him would just go to work, lifting a whole lot of weight and just doing things that we need to do. And then more than just that, though, he helped me grow in terms of being a man. Manners and how to approach people, how to talk to people, how to deal with things. He taught me how to go through college and the stuff that would be awaiting for me as I grown up. And so unlike other people, I had knowledge in the back of my head, okay, cool, when this happens, I'm going to do this, and the third. So my dad was an amazing inspiration and an amazing help for me.
I got to imagine building that home gym was really helpful during the pandemic and COVID, right? When you weren't able to go to gyms and work out in public. What are you lifting these days anyway?
Lifting about 550 on squat, about 435 on bench, cleans about 385. That cleans upsetting. I wish I had 4 or 5, but we're still working at it.
You got time to get up there, Nash. I want to talk more about your dad, and you mentioned, his background as a minister, and understand that when the family moved from Dallas to Nacogdoches, he later became the team chaplain for Stephen F. Austin's football program. What was that experience like, having been around him and being the chaplain for a football team?
It was really cool. So because he was a chaplain of the football team, he had access to the team's Bible study. And my dad, being my dad, he asked me if I wanted to come. So me being this 10th grader, 11th grader, being around all these giants, of course, in a college atmosphere, getting to pick their brains and see what they go through on a day-to-day basis helped me out tremendously. And just seeing how my dad would go to work every single day. He would wake up and wake up around 3, 4 in the morning, do his devotion, then go and do his stuff at school that he had to do because he's a PE teacher. Then he would go do stuff at church. And then on the side, he's doing the team chaplain at SFA. And so just seeing him work and really instilling those things into me, and seeing my dad do a lot of amazing stuff. He touched a lot of kids over there, their heart, and they just absolutely love him over there.
So just how big is faith in the Jones family?
It's honestly, it's the main pillar. Not only is family really big for us, but faith is as well. And not just because my dad is a pastor. You would think because he's a pastor, okay, of course, faith is going to be a big part of the family. But one of the things that he said that he was really trying to do was he was trying to give God to us so that we wouldn't say God is my mother and father's God, but God is my personal God. And so faith is the driving force in everything that we do. My older brother, not only he didn't just go to preacher because my dad's a preacher, but he felt like God called him to that place. The only reason why I'm here at Texas State was because I feel like God called me to this place. And so faith is an incredibly important pillar in our household. It is the rock on which we stand.
You mentioned your faith led you, from Nacogdoches to San Antonio, now to San Marcos. I want to talk with you a little bit more about that. Obviously, you had huge connections at Texas State after the coaching change had happened, with GJ Kinne coming on board, bringing a lot of his staff along with him. So you had pre-existing relationships. So it makes sense why you would choose Texas State from that standpoint. But ultimately, the decision to transfer is yours. Why did you make that decision?
So it's kind of funny. I don't need a whole lot, I'm a very basic individual. As long as I got a bed to sleep on, the food in my stomach, I'm A-okay, I'm ready to roll.
Yeah.
And so I was getting ready to just stay at UIW because that was my home. That was the first place I went to out of college. I made connections there. My church was there. People I knew, I knew where to go to get Whataburger. I knew where to go to get the really good tacos, you know what I'm saying? So I was really content with where I was at. But I can remember it vividly. It was after practice. I had my daily devotion tied to my phone. And so I would get a message around 6, but we practiced from 7, so I didn't check my phone that day. I looked at it, and the verse spoke to me, it's time to go. It's time for you to move on. It's time for you to leave. And so God just told me that it's time to leave, time to go. He didn't tell me where to go, and that choice was kind of up to me. And when I thought about it, this was the perfect place to go to because as you mentioned, I knew Coach Kinne. I knew my offensive line coach, Coach Shu. My brother went to this school. Out of high school, I thought I was going to go to Texas State, so everything just kind of lined up. And first and foremost, God's a God of peace, and I felt the most peace here.
Well, it's a good thing St. Marcos has a couple of Whataburgers and a few taco stops as well, so kind of feels a little bit like home for you. What's your go-to Whataburger meal?
Go-to Whataburger meal. As of lately, it's been patty melt. Have to get a patty melt, fries, extra side of onion rings, and if I'm feeling good that day, I'll probably get a Dr. Pepper shake.
I'm still upset that it took away the A1 Thick and Hearty from Whataburger. That used to be the meal back in the day. But you mentioned, the relationships you have with the people that were already here before you transferred over. I want to start with your head coach, with GJ Kinne. You played for him for one season at Incarnate Ward, a tremendous season at that. The team won a Southland title, deep playoff run to the FCS semifinals. What did you get to know about Coach Kinne in the 1 year you played for him?
We all know that Coach Kinne is an amazing football guy, amazing football mind, but on the outside of that, he's more than just what they would call a player's coach. Yeah. It doesn't mean that he's easy, because he's not easy, right? But the relationships that he established is something that's different. You actually know this person. You actually can have a conversation with him. You can talk to him, and it's easier to talk to this guy. He's approachable. He does demand respect, of course, right? Disrespect is not tolerated. But with that, he walks that line very well of this big coach that you have to respect and you show authority because he's authority, but then he's also relatable. He's also acceptable, and he's also easy to talk to. So that was a big part for me. And then also, he runs a really non-toxic coaching establishment. Because while competitiveness to me is great and you need it to win games, you need to have a good air of competitive juices flowing all throughout anything that you do. You need to be fighting for spots. You need to be fighting for other stuff. It can become overboard. Yeah. So he does a great job of balancing things out and how he runs the ship.
He has so many great relationships in football. Going back to his high school football playing days, at Gilmer way back in the day, and then on to college at University of Tulsa. Spent several years in pro football as well, and before he got into coaching. And one of the relationships he established was when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, when he was a quarterback with the Eagles, and he struck up a friendship with Lane Johnson. Lane is arguably the best offensive lineman right now in the NFL. One of the top tackles, one of the highest paid offensive linemen as well. Part of an Eagle team that just got done playing in the Super Bowl a few months ago. And Coach Kinne had Lane Johnson talk to the team a couple of months ago. As an offensive lineman yourself, what did you take away from that?
I didn't want to talk X's and O's with him because his scheme is a lot different than our scheme, right? And I want to be engrossed in and learn our scheme back ways and front ways. But the one thing that I did want to talk with him and that I did glean from the conversation that he had with the entire team was, what does it take to be a pro? What does it take to be at that level consistently? What are the challenges that I might have to face? How should I start gearing my mind to think when I reach that, if, God willing, I reach that level? And so seeing all the great nuggets that he dropped, it was like, okay, cool, I think like that. Okay, cool, I can change this and I can start thinking like that. Okay, cool, I can adopt this style of thinking and this style of doing things and how to attack everything like a pro would.
Yeah. You mentioned Coach Shoe earlier, and you're alluding to Jordan Shoemaker, the offensive line coach now here at Texas State, was with Coach Kinne and you and UIW this past year. What's your relationship like with Coach Shoemaker?
It's just really good. So it was funny because out of high school I didn't have a whole lot of offers. I felt like I was under-recruited. But the way Coach Shoe found me was watching somebody else's film. And then he saw me through somebody else's film making a play and decided to look me up and then started the ball rolling. UIW was my very first offer. Coach Shoe was my very first offer. And so that's where the relationship really started. And the cool thing to me was with him, he didn't just talk ball. He talked life, and he said, okay, cool, I'm going to need you to do these things when you get here and all that good stuff. And so how it is now is just, to me, it's a great relationship. He asked me, and it's more than just football, but he teaches me on how, okay, to get to the pros, you're going to have to do this, that, and the third. To get to this area that we want to do, you're going to do this, that, and the third. And he's an incredibly great football mind and incredibly great technician. He really has honed my skills in on the football field to a great degree. And so he's an incredible coach.
Not only is a lot of the staff comprised from people who were at UIW this past year, Coach Kinne, Coach Shoe, your offensive coordinator as well, with Texas State, but several offensive linemen on top of that as well. You're not the only former Cardinal O-lineman, now a Bobcat. There's several of them, to include Caleb Johnson. And I understand Caleb is your roommate. In fact, you're visiting with me right now from the apartment the two of you share. You play tackle, he plays guard. You all have been playing side by side with one another. So tell me a little bit more about the relationship you and Caleb have.
That's my main man. And so sometimes it feels like we're just thinking the exact same thing every single time. It was really funny when I went into UIW as a freshman and Coach put me on the right side. He put Caleb there with me to help grow me and help me to learn more about the offense and learn more, kind of what you do with a freshman. And then when he moved me over to the left, he asked, do you want me to move Caleb with me? I said, of course. And so as we've done that, we just started to grow. Our relationship has grown. And it's like, I don't even have to ask him what he's going to do on the side of the football field because I know what he's going to do. Our communication is on a top-tier level. We have calls that are just between me and him because we know what we're thinking. Whenever we're teaching a young guy, it's just bouncing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so the relationship I have with Caleb Johnson is amazing, and he's one heck of a football player. His nickname's the Big Show.
Big Show.
That's a big guy right there.
Do you have a nickname?
Not at all, no.
We need to work on that, Nash. If Caleb's got one, you got to have one too. But I want to go back to in Carter Ward this past season when Coach Kinne was hired at Texas State. The Cardinals were still in the middle of their playoff run, and he made the decision to stay with the Cardinals until the playoff run was over. So a lot of Bobcat fans were then becoming invested and engaged in UIW's playoff run. Watching that home playoff win you had against Furman, and then the second round win against Sacramento State that I think went into like 2 a.m. Central Time in Texas, and then the game in North Dakota State, and we're seeing all these points being scored, right? And that's what got Bobcat fans really excited. It was the prospect, of having a coaching staff in place that saw this Cardinal team lead the nation in scoring a year ago, more than 50 points a game. And a big catalyst for that, on top of the great play from the offensive line, of course, Lindsey Scott, the quarterback for the Cardinals, who won the Walter Payton Award, which is the FCS equivalent of the Heisman. Best player in the country then at that level for Lindsey Scott. He's going to play pro ball. He got drafted, I understand, recently by one of the XFL franchises. But until that starts, he's going to be on the staff here at Texas State. Coach Kinne bringing him on as an offensive assistant. So you blocked for this guy. You were his blindside protector, left tackle, and now he's on staff. A guy you played with just, again, a few months ago. What is it like for you to be able to continue your football journey with Lindsey Scott by your side?
It's really cool. It's really great. I was kind of thrown off when they did that. It's like, oh, shoot. I was just, playing with this guy. Now he's going to be one of the coaches. Lindsey Scott is an amazing competitor, for one, and he really is a film study guy. So he knows the X's and O's, and he can do it with the best of anybody. And so him being in that quarterback room is really essential and great because he knows the offense already. So as he's working on his skills, he's helping some of the young guys, he's helping some of the transfers come in, and he's telling them in ways that they can hear. Lindsey Scott is an amazing person, amazing guy. And so just to see him there's like another piece of home is with us. And so great person overall. I love to laugh and joke with him. It's not really serious when it's me and him because I love that aspect of our relationship. Mm-hmm. And so a great dude right there.
Well, Nash, I mentioned it, that Bobcat fans, when Coach Kinne was hired, they were excited. When they were watching the Cardinals playoff run, they were excited for that program and knowing, potentially what could be at Texas State. So there's a lot of optimism, excitement going into this 2023 season. What is your message to Bobcat Nation as you get ready for this upcoming year?
I'm used to winning, I hate losing. I'm an amazing competitor in that aspect. I hate losing more than I love winning. And so know that culture is being instilled here. Coach Kinne is a big culture guy. Coach Kinne, Coach Hughes, our strength coach, Coach Shu, every single coach on this staff is big on the culture because the culture helps you win games. And so the biggest thing that I can say to watch out for us is that we don't have that losing nature in us. We're going to go out there and give our all 4 quarters, as much plus more if it goes into overtime, and we're going to win games.
Well, Nash, this has been great. Again, welcome to Texas State. Go get you a patty melt. Enjoy your time before training camp starts. We can't wait to see you play this upcoming year.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, again, Nash Jones joining us on the State Sub podcast, the first video edition of it. It's been a good one with Texas State left tackle Nash Jones. That's going to wrap things up. For Nash, I'm Brant Freeman, reminding you to keep your State Sub, and we'll see you next time.